There was once a bird called Sienna. She laid a single egg in a nest. She was a mummy who had wobbles a lot, and she often forgot to sit on her egg. One day, when Sienna was in a wobble, flying away, the egg got a crack. Inside, a little chick was pecking away, peck, 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 until pop, out came its head. Then his neck, his wings, and finally his body and feet. Did you know that when baby birds are born, they start to look for their mummy straight away? In fact, you hear of some baby birds who think humans are the mummy because that's the first thing they see after they come out the egg. When Pip looked around, guess who he saw? No one. No one at all. No one to be his mummy. Oh, he thought, maybe my mummy is no one. In the end, Sienna did come back. Sometimes she gave him worms. Sometimes no one did. Sometimes she cleaned out the nest. Sometimes no one did. Sometimes Sienna would shriek at scary birds, and then she'd fly away from them and they'd chase her and fly over the nest. As their shadows passed overhead, Pip would hide. He would feel frightened. No one helped Pip with big feelings. No one is my mummy, Pip thought. Pip felt sad he didn't have a mummy who could be a mummy. But since there was no one to help with the sad feeling, he swallowed it down. Pip couldn't do sad on his own. Not long after, two different birds came to visit, Azure and Colbert. They would feed Pip, they would clean the nest, and they would help him with any feelings he felt able to feel. He felt safe when they were there with their wings around him. He could sleep. When they were there, everything felt better. It was like they were the mummy. When it was time for them to leave, Pip would feel sad. But then he would push that feeling away and hide it behind an angry feeling. He was angry they had left. Angry with Sienna for not being a mummy. Angry with Cyan, Colbert and Azure's little chick because she got them all the time. Pip tried to be the goodest of chicks to get Sienna to be a mummy, but it was no good. She just had too many wobbles. She just couldn't do it. This would have made Pip sad, but he didn't dare feel sad when there was no one to help him, so he pushed that feeling away and felt angry instead. That was safer. That was stronger. One day, Azure and Colbert suggested that Pip could come home with them for a weekend. Pip loved this. He loved staying with them, although he felt a bit jealous of Cyan because she was there all the time. And do you know what happened next? Sienna disappeared. She never came back. No one could find her. So Colbert and Azure said Pip could live with them forever. This was a good thing, and you might well think this is the happy ever after. Well, I promise the ending is happy, but not just yet. Pip had been so little when he lived with Sienna that he didn't remember it. He grew bigger with Azure, Colbert and Cyan. He learned to fly. He always had a bit of a jealous feeling about Cyan that he couldn't quite get rid of. And he never found being sad easy. He usually protected his sad feelings with angry ones. And as Pip got bigger, Azure and Colbert decided the time had come to tell him about Sienna. He listened. He was amazed. He was confused. He was angry with Sienna for letting him down. And yet there was part of him that really wanted to see her. He still got jealous of Cyan, who had learnt to fly before him, seemed to sing better and balance on the branches better. He worried Mum and Dad loved her better. He worried she got the best worms. He couldn't help thinking if Sienna had just been a mummy, then he wouldn't have had to share parents with Cyan, and this made him sad. He wasn't good at feeling sad, so he got angry instead. Angry with Cyan for being in the family. Angry with Sienna, who he didn't know, for letting him down. For not being a mummy. For not keeping him. For going away. And angry with Azure and Colbert for keeping him at their nest. Sometimes he would tweet angrily at Azure and Colbert that he hated them and didn't want them. But that only made him feel worse, because he needed their help with the two big feelings. Poor Pip, he was so confused. What he wanted most of all was a mummy or daddy all to himself, and it seemed like he'd had that. But she had not looked after him, and she had left him, and he got angrier and angrier. Pip felt embarrassed and ashamed. Embarrassed that he wasn't really like the other chicks with a mummy that looked after him and kept him. He felt sure that there must be something wrong with him. Otherwise, why else would all the other chicks be able to stay with their mummies and daddies and he couldn't? He was so embarrassed he just wanted to crawl back into the egg. Mummy and Daddy, Colbert and Azure, helped him with the embarrassed feelings. They reminded him that it was because there was something wrong with Sienna. She was too wobbly. Not because there was anything wrong with him. They explained that Sienna wasn't any good at being a mummy. She didn't look after Pip, and she wasn't really a mummy at all. She was just the person who laid the egg. They told him that they were angry with her too. They told him that when he was with Sienna, no one was being the mummy, and it wasn't his fault. Mummy and Daddy helped him with the angry feelings. Little by little, they all came out. And finally, when the angry feelings had come out, they found the sad feelings underneath. Pip was so very sad that he didn't hatch out of his egg to a mummy who was there waiting to look after him. He was very sad that Sienna had left him and not come back. He was sad that he hadn't always been with this kind Mummy and Daddy. It took a long time for all the sad feelings to come out. They felt like a river that might never end. But eventually the sad feelings stopped flowing. And Pip started to be able to feel happy that he had a Mummy and Daddy that loved him very much and could keep him safe and feed him. Day by day, the good feelings got bigger and stronger. He never forgot that when he was tiny, no one had been his mummy. There was always a tiny space in his heart. But he had so much love for his mummy and daddy, and they had so much love for him that his heart grew bigger. So there was room for the tiny space. It didn't matter, and it didn't hold him back. So Pip got on with his life. Most of the time you'll find Pip soaring happily through the sky, singing about his real family, the ones who love him so much. There, I promised you a happy ending. The end.